What if speaking the truth could cost you your life? Step into the hidden world of Putin's Russia, where loyalty is tested, betrayals run deep, and dissent can be deadly. Imagine a world where power isn't just a position, it's a tool, a weapon. In Russia, political influence is closely guarded, and those who betray their allies often pay a heavy price. Today, we're diving into the heart of Russian politics, focusing on a story of ambition, betrayal, and survival. From the life and death of Alexander Litvinenko to Putin's complex alliances, every twist reveals just how far leaders will go to maintain control. Let's explore the story of Vladimir Putin's rise to dominance and the lives left in its wake. Section 1. The early life of Alexander Litvinenko and his role in the FSB. To understand this story, we need to go back to Alexander Litvinenko, a former FSB agent who dared to expose the dark underbelly of Russian intelligence. As a young officer, Litvinenko was seen as loyal and capable, traits valued in the FSB, Russia's formidable security agency. Over time, he was promoted, and soon, he was privy to classified information that would make most people uneasy. But Litvinenko saw something that disturbed him deeply. Reports linked FSB officials to organized crime, ranging from illegal drug trading to extortion and kidnapping for ransom. He began gathering evidence, driven by a sense of justice. Eventually, he realized that the corruption went deeper than he could have imagined, involving figures who were untouchable within the organization. Litvinenko took his findings to his superiors, even seeking an audience with Putin, then the newly appointed FSB chief. He thought the new leadership might address these issues, but instead, Litvinenko's pleas were ignored, and the once loyal agent became a target. Section 2. Boris Berezovsky, the power behind the curtain. Enter Boris Berezovsky, a powerful oligarch and media tycoon. Berezovsky was no stranger to political manipulation. He had, after all, been instrumental in helping Boris Yeltsin secure the Russian presidency. But Berezovsky's ambitions didn't end with Yeltsin. In Vladimir Putin, Berezovsky saw someone he could support and potentially influence. Berezovsky recommended Putin for leadership roles, believing Putin's career in the FSB and seemingly humble persona would make him a reliable ally. And at first, it appeared that Berezovsky's instincts were correct. Putin took the role of FSB chief, and Berezovsky continued to wield considerable influence. But this alliance was not to last. As Putin began to consolidate power, he sought to dismantle the oligarchic control over Russian resources and politics. To him, Berezovsky and others like him were no longer allies, but threats to his vision of a centralized, controlled Russian state. As Berezovsky's media empire turned critical of Putin, the oligarch found himself at odds with the very leader he'd helped install. Section 3. Litvinenko's public denunciation and exile. Litvinenko, disillusioned by his experiences within the FSB, made a drastic decision. He fled to the United Kingdom, where he could speak openly about the issues he had uncovered. It was here, in the relative safety of London, that he started publishing accounts of corruption within Russia's government. He accused high-ranking officials and painted a picture of a government where power and crime often went hand in hand. In his writings and interviews, Litvinenko alleged that Russia's government wasn't just complicit in crime, but was actively using it as a tool to silence opposition and maintain control. These claims put him at direct odds with Putin, and they didn't go unnoticed. Litvinenko's life in the UK wasn't as safe as he might have thought. From his exile, Litvinenko continued to draw international attention to what he saw as a systematic abuse of power in Russia. This made him a thorn in the side of the Russian state, a problem that would not easily go away. Section 4. The Litvinenko poisoning, a deadly warning. In November 2006, Litvinenko's defiance met a chilling end. After a meeting with two Russian men, Litvinenko fell gravely ill. Doctors were at a loss until they discovered an extraordinary and sinister cause, polonium-210 poisoning. It was a method few could have expected, and fewer still would survive. Litvinenko's death was slow and painful, but even as he lay dying, he did not remain silent. With what strength he had left, he pointed his finger at Putin, accusing the Russian president of orchestrating his assassination. Litvinenko's dying words were a powerful condemnation, setting off an international controversy. This method of poisoning wasn't random. Polonium-210 is a highly toxic, rare substance requiring specialized handling. Suggesting a carefully calculated attack, the international community was stunned. The UK, Litvinenko's new home, found itself in a diplomatic standoff with Russia. Calls for justice reverberated, but the trail was as cold as the polonium itself. Section 5. Putin's response and consolidation of power. While Litvinenko's death shocked the world within Russia, Putin continued to amass power. Key to his strategy was weakening oligarchs like Berezovsky, whose wealth had once held sway over political decisions. By targeting, and in some cases, jailing or exiling these powerful figures, Putin shifted the balance of power away from individual wealth and toward the state. Berezovsky, once untouchable, found his fortunes waning. Stripped of assets, facing criminal charges, and eventually fleeing to the UK. He saw firsthand the ruthlessness of Putin's approach. Others, like Mikhail Khodorkovsky, would later face similar fates. As Putin systematically reduced the influence of the oligarchs who could challenge his control, this wasn't just about money or power. Putin's move against the oligarchs marked a transformation in Russian politics. The era of the billionaire kingmakers was over, replaced by a centralized, state-controlled system that answered only to one leader. Section 6. Litvinenko's legacy, international fallout and global implications. Even after his death, Litvinenko's accusations continued to cast a long shadow over Putin's government. The incident strained Russia's relationship with the West, especially the UK, where demands for accountability grew louder. Media outlets across the globe covered the story, drawing attention to the dangers faced by political dissidents under Putin's rule. Litvinenko's death symbolized the risks inherent in challenging the Russian government, and his story became a symbol of resistance against authoritarianism. Internationally, Litvinenko's murder led to a series of diplomatic responses. Governments began reevaluating their relationships with Russia, wary of the lengths to which its leaders might go to silence critics. The incident sparked increased scrutiny on Russia's intelligence, tactics and methods of dealing with dissent. Conclusion: the enduring power of Vladimir Putin's Russia. So, what does all of this tell us about Vladimir Putin's Russia? In the end, the fate of figures like Litvinenko and Berezovsky illustrate a system where dissent is met with harsh consequences, and loyalty can be a matter of survival. For Putin, power isn't just about control. It's about ensuring that no one else can threaten his vision for Russia. Litvinenko's story remains a reminder of the lengths to which authoritarian states may go to protect their influence. His tragic death and its political fallout reveal the global ramifications of such power struggles, affecting diplomacy, international security, and public perceptions. In Putin's Russia, those who wield power also wield the ability to define truth, and the price of challenging it can be extraordinarily high. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Russian power politics, where alliances shift, betrayals run deep, and the stakes can be deadly. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.